Melina's towel was looted, leaving her with nothing to wear. Taryn Terrell's robe was ripped away, exposing her right in the ring. And let's not forget the hilarious moment Enzo Amore was locked out of the shower without his clothes, leaving him walking around like this. These WWE wrestlers thought they were ready for the ring, but they didn't expect to be stripped of their clothes. From stolen gear to pants, we're about to expose the most daring wardrobe heists in WWE history. Melina. Let's rewind to 2007 for an unforgettable WWE moment, this time featuring the glamorous Melina and the mischievous Hornswoggle. Melina was one of the top divas, known for her stunning ring entrances and fierce in-ring skills. However, she found herself in a rather embarrassing situation. This memorable incident happened backstage during an episode of Monday Night Raw. Melina was in the locker room, taking a shower after a tough match. Unknown to her, Hornswoggle had snuck into the area with a plan to stir up some chaos. As Hornswoggle wasn't done causing trouble, the following week he struck again. This time, he made his presence known during one of Melina's matches. As she was competing in the ring, Hornswoggle popped out from under the ring, causing a distraction that led to Melina losing the match. Furious with the leprechaun's antics, Melina chased Hornswoggle under the ring, determined to catch him once and for all. After a few tense moments, Hornswoggle re-emerged from under the ring, but he wasn't alone. In his hands, he held Melina's top, proudly showing it off to the fans. The crowd erupted in laughter and cheers, while Melina, still under the ring, was left fuming. Hornswoggle then went back under the ring and, to everyone's shock, came out with Melina's pants. The sight of Hornswoggle holding Melina's ring gear was both outrageous and unforgettable. Melina, now completely exposed, had no choice but to conceal herself with the ring apron. She shouted at Hornswoggle to return her clothes, but the mischievous leprechaun refused. Instead, he took his new possessions backstage, leaving Melina feeling completely humiliated. This wild sequence of events was classic WWE, blending humor and drama in a way that fans would talk about for years to come, just like the next incident involving WWE diva Lita. Back in 2002, WWE fans witnessed a dramatic and unforgettable incident involving Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, and Lita. This story perfectly shows how personal rivalries in WWE can lead to shocking moments. Brock Lesnar, known as the Beast Incarnate, was rapidly becoming one of WWE's most dominant forces. The Hardy Boys, with their high-flying daredevil style, were fan favorites and always ready for a fight. Things got even more personal because Matt Hardy was dating Lita, a beloved WWE diva and a member of Team Extreme. They decided to escalate the feud by targeting Lita. While Lita was backstage, Heyman sneaked into her locker room and stole her luggage. This act wasn't just a prank, it was a calculated move to infuriate the Hardy Boys and throw them off their game. Later that night, Matt and Jeff Hardy were scheduled to compete in a match. As they made their way to the ring, Paul Heyman appeared on the stage, holding Lita's luggage. Heyman began tossing Lita's clothes into the crowd with a sinister grin. The fans watched in shock as Heyman disrespected Lita's belongings, and the Hardy Boys were furious. After the match, Matt Hardy, driven by anger and concern for Lita, charged straight at Paul Heyman. The confrontation was intense, with Matt demanding Heyman return Lita's belongings. But Heyman had a plan, and it came in the form of Brock Lesnar. The Beast Incarnate appeared, ready to defend his manager and continue the assault on the Hardy Boys. Despite his determination, Matt F5 on the stage with Lita's clothes scattered around. Seeing Matt Hardy lying on the stage surrounded by Lita's belongings was both shocking and heartbreaking. Speaking of personal rivalries, the next story involves one of the biggest rivalries in the women's division, Paige. Next, we move into one of the most unforgettable moments involving Paige and the Bella Twins. It was 2015, and Paige, known as the Anti-Diva, was in a heated feud with Nikki and Brie Bella. The Bella Twins were on top, with Nikki holding the Divas Championship, and they used every trick to stay dominant. Paige, with her rebellious attitude and unique style, was always a thorn in their side. The tension hit a boiling point on an episode of Monday Night Raw. Paige was scheduled for a match, and as she prepared backstage, she had no idea what was coming. Nikki and Brie, always looking for an edge, decided to play a dirty trick. They sneaked into Paige's locker room and stole her clothes, leaving her with nothing to wear just moments before going on live TV. Panic set in as Paige realized her ring gear was missing. With the clock ticking and no time to find a replacement, she had to think quickly. Desperation can lead to creativity, and Paige's resourcefulness shone through in this high-pressure situation. Frantically searching for an alternative, she noticed the Rosebuds dancing nearby. The Rosebuds, a group of colorful and odd characters actors who accompanied Adam Rose to the ring were known for their flamboyant costumes. Without hesitation, Paige pulled one of the Rosebuds into her locker room and borrowed their clothes. It was an unconventional choice, but it was her only option. The outfit she ended up with was far from her usual dark and edgy attire. Instead, she found herself in a bright and fairy dress, more suited for a party than a wrestling match. Despite the odd appearance, Paige knew she had to make it work. As she made her way to the ring, the WWE Universe was in for a surprise. Paige's new look was met with a mix of shock and amusement from the fans. The Bella twins, watching from backstage, couldn't contain their laughter. They thought they had successfully humiliated Paige and thrown her off her game, but Paige was not one to back down easily. Despite her unusual attire, Paige stormed into the ring with confidence. The fans quickly got behind her, cheering louder than ever. The Bella twins' plan to embarrass Paige backfired spectacularly. Paige fought with her usual intensity and determination, proving that no matter what she wore, she was a force to be reckoned with. Well, is it only the women who have had their clothes stolen? Enzo Amore. Let's not forget one of the most shocking and embarrassing moments in WWE history involving Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Enzo Amore and Big Cass were on top of the WWE world in 2016. Their charisma and chemistry made them fan favorites, but behind the scenes things were tense. The drama began on the November 21st episode of Raw. Backstage, Enzo was his usual lively self, unaware of what was about to happen. Big Cass, with a mischievous plan, waited for his chance. When Enzo stepped into the shower, Cass grabbed his clothes and locked him out of the locker room. What started as a harmless prank quickly turned into a humiliating ordeal for Enzo, who was left completely naked and desperate. As he searched for something to cover up with, Enzo bumped into Lana, the wife of fellow wrestler Rusev. Lana was stunned, and Rusev was furious when he found out. Seeing this as a huge disrespect, Rusev challenged Enzo to a match that night. Unsurprisingly, a rattled Enzo was quickly defeated. The humiliation continued. On the December 5th episode of Raw, Enzo stood up for Lana during an argument with Rusev. Lana, appearing grateful, invited Enzo to her hotel room, but it was a trap. Rusev ambushed Enzo in the hotel, further humiliating him. The feud escalated, involving Rusev's ally, Jinder Mahal. Enzo and Cass faced numerous challenges, including Cass losing a handicap match to Rusev and Mahal. However, the duo managed to rally and secure a couple of victories, ending the feud. Despite these wins, the stolen clothes incident left a scar on their partnership. The tension between Enzo and Cass continued to simmer, eventually leading to their split. The once great tag team couldn't recover from the betrayal and public humiliation. What started as a simple prank turned into a catalyst for their downfall, marking one of the most unforgettable chapters in WWE history. Well, Enzo isn't the only male wrestler to be embarrassed in such a way. Christian and Chris Jericho got a share of their own. Christian and Chris Jericho. We can't talk about stolen clothes in WWE and not mention the hilarious and unforgettable WWE moment from 2002 involving Chris Jericho, Christian, and Dudley Boyz. This story perfectly captures how wild rivalries in WWE can lead to outrageous moments. The night started with Chris Jericho and Christian, the WWE Tag Team Champions, defending their titles against the Dudley Boyz, Bubba Ray and Devon. The match was intense, with both teams giving their best. Jericho and Christian, known for their sneaky tactics, managed to keep their titles by cheating, leaving the Dudley Boyz furious. Determined to get revenge, Bubba Ray and Devon came up with a plan to humiliate Jericho and Christian. After the match, the champions headed to the locker room to shower and change. Little did they know, the Dudley Boyz were plotting something hilarious. While Jericho and Christian were in the shower, Bubba Ray and Devon sneaked into the locker room and stole their clothes and bags. When Jericho and Christian finished their shower and went to get dressed, they were shocked to find their clothes missing. Panic set in as they realized they had nothing to wear. Wrapped only in white towels, the two Canadians had no choice but to venture out into the arena to find their missing belongings. The sight of Jericho and Christian, two of WWE's top superstars, wandering around in towels was both shocking and hilarious. As they made their way through the backstage area, they encountered various WWE personnel, all surprised and amused by their predicament. Jericho and Christian's frustration grew as they continued their search, but they were determined to find their clothes and get back at the Dudley Boyz. Eventually, Jericho and Christian reached the ring where the Dudley Boyz were waiting. Bubba Ray and Devon, enjoying every moment of their prank, stood in the ring with the tag team champions' bags in hand. The crowd erupted in laughter and cheers as Jericho and Christian, still clad in their towels, confronted the Dudleys, but the humiliation didn't end there. Bubba Ray and Devon decided to take things a step further. In a dramatic move, they threw Jericho and Christian's bags into the crowd, leaving the two superstars with no clothes and no way to cover themselves. The fans eagerly grabbed the bags, hijinks, adding to the chaos and hilarity. Just when it seemed things couldn't get any worse for Jericho and Christian, Spike Dudley, the smallest member of the Dudley family, made his way to the ring. Spike walked up behind Jericho and Christian and ripped away their towels, leaving both men completely exposed. This silly prank made the audience laugh very hard and is remembered as one of the most hilarious moments in WWE history. Taryn Terrell. Our next story takes us back to 2015 and the unforgettable incident involving Taryn Terrell and Brooke Adams in TNA, now known as Impact Wrestling. This storyline was part of a larger feud between Taryn, who was the Knockouts champion at the time, and Brooke, a fierce competitor determined to dethrone her. The incident took place during a highly anticipated match that was supposed to be a lingerie pillow fight, a gimmick match that was already controversial and had fans buzzing. Taryn Terrell, known for her bold persona, promised to reveal a new side of herself in the Knockouts division. She entered the ring with her stablemates, Marty Bell and Jade, and set up a bed and pillows, teasing a sexy lingerie reveal. However, her opponent, Awesome Kong, refused to play along, entering the ring in her usual attire. This angered Taryn, who had planned a lingerie pillow fight. The situation turned tense as Taryn and her stablemates tried to force Kong to comply, setting the stage for an intense match. Just as the situation seemed to be reaching a boiling point, Brooke Adams' music hit, and she made her way to the ring with a microphone in hand. Brooke was determined to put an end to Taryn's tricks and challenge her for the Knockouts title. She criticized Taryn for making a mockery of the division with the lingerie pillow fight stipulation and reminded her that she had promised to defend her title that night. Taryn, unapologetic and defiant, insisted that she be declared the winner since Kong had not complied with the match's stipulations. Brooke, however, was not backing down. She joined Taryn in the ring and continued to confront her, reminding her of the promise to show some skin and defend her title. Taryn, finding Brooke's approach amusing, tapped her nose and warned her that she had already embarrassed Kong and Gail Kim and would have no problem doing the same to her. When Taryn suggested that Brooke find her way back to where she came from, Brooke informed Taryn that she had one more thing to tell her. Without using any words, Brooke landed a strong forearm on Taryn, knocking the champion onto the bed inside the ring. As Brooke clobbered Taryn, the champion tried to escape, but Brooke managed to keep her within close range. Brooke ripped off Taryn's robe, leaving her exposed in the ring. The audience was in shock as Taryn scrambled to cover herself with pillows, embarrassed and humiliated by Brooke's actions. Kurt Angle. Kurt Steven Angle, an Olympic gold medalist in American freestyle wrestling, started his wrestling journey at just 7 years old. He became a legendary professional wrestler, known for his 10 years in WWE and Total Nonstop Action Wrestling TNA. His career is filled with amazing moments and achievements, but one event at TNA Victory Road 2007 stands out for its craziness and humor. During this event, all the titles were on the line in a big tag team match, promising lots of excitement. But what happened next was beyond anyone's wildest dreams. In a typical TNA twist, Kurt Angle's clothes and championship belts were stolen, setting off a series of hilarious and unexpected events. After a tough match, Angle went back to his locker room tanning bed, only to find his clothes and championship belts missing. Shocked and frustrated, he had to go on a wild hunt to get his things back. With Jeremy Barash, a backstage interviewer, by his side, Angle's quest began. Their search took them through different parts of the arena, creating a chaotic and funny atmosphere. The serious situation turned into a comedy show that fans loved. At one point, Jeremy Barash was found trying to get into Kurt's locker room, but ended up in a tanning bed instead. This silly twist added to the unpredictability of the storyline. As Angle's frustration grew, so did the laughs. He was seen standing on a boardroom table in just a Speedo, counting to 10 and demanding his wrestling gear back from a bunch of bored and confused staff members. His antics created a scene that was both surreal and unforgettable. The tension and absurdity kept building as Angle continued his search. Despite the embarrassment, he remained professional and dedicated to his craft. His performance kept fans on the edge of their seats, eagerly watching every move. Finally, after much chaos and laughter, Angle's clothes and championship belts were later discovered to have been stolen by Samoa Joe. This bizarre yet entertaining episode showcased Kurt Angle's ability to turn a challenging situation into a memorable and entertaining spectacle for his fans. Bret Hart. Let's dive into another thrilling tale from the wrestling world. focusing on a legendary moment involving Bret Hart's iconic jacket being stolen. In 1995, Bret the Hitman Hart, renowned for his technical wrestling skills and signature pink and black attire, found himself in an unexpected feud with Jean-Pierre Lafitte. Portrayed by Pierre-Carl Ouellet, Lafitte was a French-Canadian pirate character looking to make a big splash in the WWE. His target? One of Bret Hart's most prized possessions, his leather jacket. The drama kicked off when Lafitte, embracing his pirate persona, boldly stole Bret Hart's jacket. This wasn't just any piece of clothing, it was a symbol of Hart's wrestling legacy and his deep connection with fans. Lafitte's daring act was meant to provoke and gain notoriety, and it certainly did. The WWE Universe was outraged, eagerly anticipating the Hitman's response. The tension reached its peak at the triple-header event, where Hart and Lafitte squared off in a highly anticipated match. The stakes were intensely personal, and the WWE crowd buzzed with excitement. The match itself was a masterpiece of technical wrestling and compelling storytelling. Bret Hart, fueled by the desire to reclaim his stolen jacket, brought his absolute best to the ring. Lafitte, eager to prove he could compete with the best, matched Hart's intensity. Together, they delivered an underrated classic, showcasing their skills and weaving a gripping narrative. In the end, Bret Hart triumphed, reclaiming his jacket and restoring his honor. The Nation. Let's journey back to 1998 during the Attitude Era for a legendary WWE moment featuring D-Generation X and the Nation of Domination. This story shows just how wild and entertaining wrestling rivalries can be. During this time, D-Generation X DX, led by Triple H and Shawn Michaels, was one of WWE's most rebellious groups. They were known for their outrageous antics and love of causing trouble. Their biggest rivals were the Nation of Domination, led by The Rock, Farouk, D'Lo Brown, and Mark Henry. The tension between DX and the Nation was intense, with both sides always trying to outdo each other. Things reached a breaking point on an episode of Monday Night Raw, when DX decided to pull off a prank that would become one of WWE's most memorable moments. The Nation of Domination was getting ready in their locker room, unaware that DX was planning to humiliate them. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, X-Pac, and the New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, sneaked into the Nation's locker room and stole their clothes. While the Nation continued preparing for their match, DX took things to the next level. They paraded around the arena wearing the Nation's outfits, mocking their rivals in front of the WWE fans. The sight of DX dressed as the Nation was both shocking and hilarious, leaving the audience laughing out loud. Triple H, impersonating The Rock, nailed his catchphrases and mannerisms. Shawn Michaels, dressed as Farouk, exaggerated his seriousness. X-Pac, Road Dogg, and Billy Gunn, dressed as D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry, added to the comedy with their over-the-top antics. The fans couldn't believe their eyes. DX's prank wasn't just a joke, it was a full-on parody that left the Nation of Domination furious. The Rock, Farouk, D'Lo Brown, and Mark Henry were livid when they discovered their clothes were gone and they were being mocked in front of millions. Rey Mysterio. Lastly, Mysterio, one of WWE's most beloved superstars, known for his high-flying moves and colorful masks, found himself in a heated feud with rising star Andrade in 2020. Their rivalry, which had been building since 2019, featured incredible matches that kept fans on the edge of their seats. The tension between Mysterio and Andrade took a dramatic turn on the January 6th episode of Raw. Andrade, defending his United States Championship against Mysterio, not only won the match but did something that shocked the WWE universe. He stole Rey Mysterio's mask. For those who may not know, Rey Mysterio's mask is far more than a piece of fabric. It symbolizes his heritage, identity, and career. In Lucha Libre, the mask represents honor and tradition. By taking Mysterio's mask, Andrade wasn't just taking an item, he was attacking Mysterio's very essence. This act ignited a fierce rivalry between the two wrestlers. Determined to reclaim his stolen identity, Mysterio went after Andrade with renewed intensity. Both wrestlers risked their bodies, delivering high-risk maneuvers and jaw-dropping moments. Fans were treated to a thrilling contest, showcasing the best of both competitors. Despite Mysterio's valiant efforts, Andrade managed to retain his title. In the end, the feud between Rey Mysterio and Andrade became one of the most memorable storylines in WWE, leaving a lasting impact on fans. From Melina's towel to Taryn Terrell's robe, these WWE wrestlers had their clothes stolen in shocking moments that left fans stunned and eager for more drama-filled action. If you enjoyed watching this video and would love to keep exploring more exciting videos like this, then go ahead and click on any of the cards on your screen.